We have the Bengals and Chiefs. One of the best games of the season, if not the best. Fantastic game. Went down to the wire. Bengals hit a field goal. But I think, more obviously we can talk about that game, and let's quickly touch on that. I mean, what did you guys see from the Bengals Chiefs game? And obviously Burrow, Chase, Mahomes, it was definitely offensively just firing on all cylinders. But in terms of that game, what did you guys see?
Well, I sat in my room and starved myself of all happiness watching the Dolphins get clattered by the Titans, so I'm not going to really comment on it.
Yeah, it was an incredible game. I had Red Zone on, and every time that game popped up, it was all attention because that was the game of the week. That was an unbelievable game. We did have some great games this week, but this one in particular, I went into this game expecting both quarterbacks to throw for over 400 yards, and it was Joe Burrow who did that. Burrow threw for 446 yards and 4 touchdowns on 30 for 39. Pretty incredible stat line. They went away from their rushing attack, which has headlined their team for a lot of the season. That's Mixon only had 12 carries, and Samaje Perine only had one, for a grand total of 60 rushing yards. Meanwhile, the Chiefs had 88 solely from Darrell Williams. So the Chiefs used a lot of the rushing attack, scored 2 touchdowns on the ground to score a lot of points against the Bengals. But I saw an amazing game. Mahomes and Burrow combined for just 18 incompletions all game, 9 coming from each of them. Mahomes 259 and 2 touchdowns. Burrow that 446 and 4 touchdowns. It was an incredible game. Jamar Chase, star in the making, 11 catches, 266 and 3 touchdowns. Incredible game to watch.
Yeah, and again, make sure you guys go check out my Jamar Chase film analysis if you haven't. But more and just not only recapping that game, but as in terms of the Bengals Super Bowl potential. Now, I mean, this team has potential to get number 1 in the AFC after week 18, assuming that they win and other things have to pan out. I think the Chiefs would have to lose, but
And the Titans.
And the Titans, but they're still in it, and I think that's the story. The Bengals were projected to get 4 or 5 wins this season, and Joe Burrow, they have found a very, very good quarterback in. And I think, as much as even halfway through the season, Jamar's producing, I'm like, I still would have went Penei Sewell. Now I'm like, yeah, no, Chase is the right option.
Who
Chase
mocked him?
looks like probably the most talented player out of that rookie class. He looks fantastic. I mean, this guy looks like,
Maybe
already
Michael
one of the
Parsons.
best receivers, or excuse me, Michael Parsons. But I mean, he looks like one of the best
Yeah, no, for
receivers
sure.
in the NFL. And to me, the big thing about Burrow is, and we text so much during the games, is this guy's release and timing of pass is second to none in the league. This guy knows when to throw a ball, and that shows. Completion percentage shows. And me as a I criticize a lot of quarterbacks. Again, not to throw too into the mix. We do it all the time, but I say if you're being an accurate quarterback is not like a standout, oh my God, this guy's a franchise guy type. I think all good, decent quarterbacks, all top 15, top 20 quarterbacks need to be accurate, or else you're Drew Lock, who has, you need to have a 60% plus completion percentage unless you have some other ridiculous stat. And I think Joe Burrow to me just seems like he's the top of that kind of status of just the ability to complete the ball. And I think he's been fantastic. I think, obviously the week prior, the Ravens game where he threw for 500. I mean, this guy has been statistically one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this season. I think they found the franchise guy. And in terms of going to the Super Bowl, I think we've seen, I mean, the Chiefs are arguably the best team in the NFL. While they might not be the top of that AFC or tied for it, I think they beat a very good team. And I think, this team can compete with anybody. I mean, right now, if they were to play the Bucs, I'm not sure if the Bucs would be favored, especially with, injuries that happen to teams. I think the Bengals are healthy. Defensively, they're good. And this team just looks fantastic.
So I will say really quick though, the Bengals, although they're beating this amazing Chiefs team, the playoffs is a different beast. The playoffs, it's just played differently, and I know it was a great game. Love to watch it. Love that the Bengals won it. Underdogs, I'll take that any day of the week. But the Bengals don't have, and that'll probably squander their deep playoff run, is experience. They just don't have a lot. If their top 2 players are first and second year players, and they've been playing at incredible levels. But Joe Burrow played only a few games in his rookie season, and now has played all of this season. Almost an injury scare at the very end of the game there. That would have been awful. But Jamar Chase has only played 17 games of his NFL career, and to expect a team that's led by such young players to go out and make it to the Super Bowl, it's a rough challenge. It's going to be very hard. When Mahomes did it, he had Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill with him as his supporting cast. So I think if it comes down to it in the playoffs, I'd favor the Chiefs to win a rematch.
I would also probably favor the Chiefs, and I think for all the reasons you touched on. But my real problem with the Bengals, and the reason that I will not have them going far in this playoffs, and it's unfortunate because they're a really fun group to watch. They were 2-14 2 seasons ago, and this rebuild is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But the issue that I have is the inability to stop the run. They have not done well, or not the inability. It's not good enough in the playoffs. So if you're going to go up against Darrell Williams and give up 88 yards, and I don't want to disrespect Darrell Williams, but he had 88 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Bengals. Now you go into a wild card game against Jonathan Taylor. What are you gonna do?
But I mean, I agree, but I think the Chiefs right now arguably are the best team in the league. Let's look at the Bengals. All right. Let's say
Bengals outscored them.
Look, all right. So say the Colts. Bengals go up against the Colts wild card. All right. Jonathan Taylor plays very well. Although I think their defense is good and can stop, potentially stop Taylor. I would say Taylor generally gets the better of defenses because he's the best running back in the league right now. Let's look at the Colts corners. Xavier Rhodes, number one. Jamar Chase gets better of him. I don't. Rock Ya-Sin is out. I don't really know. Oh, Kenny Moore, excuse me. He's a slot guy. Although Jamar Chase lines up across the line. Jamar Chase to me gets the better of every single cornerback that they will most likely face.
But that's not always going to be the case with the Colts defensive scheme. They're not going to just one-on-one coverage Jamar Chase on a random cornerback.
Like the Chiefs did.
But that's the thing. You got to look at Jamar that entire season. I agree. But then you have T. Higgins and then you have Tyler Boyd. So the unfortunate thing,
it's a great Bengals offense.
That's what I'm saying. And I think that they have to say, if it was Chase and Burrow, I think it's not, but first of all, coaching wise, Zach Taylor's been great. And I think looking at that receiving core, there are so many weapons there that they have to cover so much, and no playoff team, maybe if you go up against the Rams in the Super Bowl. But besides that, I like no team to me, even the Bucks say they went play the Bucks Super Bowl. And again, I'm giving playoff matches, but say the Titans, the Chiefs, the Titans, no good corners. They do not have a good corner on their roster.
Christian Fulton's been excellent this year. But yeah, I get your point.
I mean, Jamar Chase to me, I think this team can exploit them. And again, it comes down to defensively. And I guess on any day, any team can play good, can play bad. But I mean, we don't give enough credit to this Bengals offensive line either, which has been fantastic.
Yes,
and I think that's the big reason. I think Burrow, there's no reason why this team, if they get the right matchups, and I think right now this offense is not stoppable.
Well, what I will say is while the offense may not be stoppable, I would still favor the Colts in a match against the Bengals. I'm going to be honest. Right now, the Bengals have looked really impressive what the Colts can do, and what the Bengals, and this is Dylan, I completely agree with you. The Bengals' inability to stop the rushing attack will be their demise, because if they can't stop the rushing attack, and the rushing attack is what chews clock. If the Bengals can't get the ball, they can't score points. Jonathan Taylor in a game against the Bengals would not let the Bengals get more than 4 possessions per half, if that.
I agree with that.
But then you have to look at Carson Wentz. They're not just going to pound the ball.
Colts,
and Wentz doesn't look
they will just
pound
pound the ball with Taylor if that's what it takes to win.
They tried not to do that against Vegas and they lost.
Game. They'll give it to him 40 times per game if they have to.
They tried to change stuff up against Vegas and they lost.
Yeah, but you guys have to understand there is not a single running back, not even Derrick Henry, that you can give. I get. At the end of the day, Wentz will throw the ball. That's not.
No. There's no doubt.
But then you look at that. You see Wentz throwing the ball. The Bengals secondary isn't by any means one of the best in the league. It's not like they're going to get an interception every time he throws the ball.
Yeah, but think of it like this, Dylan. Look, we talked about this in the last podcast. All right, great defenses versus good offenses. The Bengals right now have an elite offense.
Yeah,
I think you could argue the Bengals have the best offense in the NFL right now.
I agree. I second agree. I think the Bucs have a better offense when they're all healthy.
Yeah, but they're not going to be.
They will be all healthy.
No, they won't. Godwin is now out. Brown's now out. Evans is still fighting injuries. Levante David. I mean, the Bucs team to me seem like they could be a first round exit if they play the wrong matchup.
All right.
Look, again, we're not talking about them. I think we get away from the topic a lot. I think what the Bengals have with this passing attack to me is second to none. And whether we think a playoff team, all right, say a playoff team faces them, a good offense faces them. It's not like this Bengals team doesn't have a good defense. It's not great. It's a good defense. Okay. It's better than the Chiefs defense that they went to the Super Bowl with. And the Chiefs had a great offense. And I think no one will compare. I'm not going to compare the Bengals offense to the Chiefs that won the Super Bowl or the Bucs that won the Super Bowl. But what did they have? three great receivers, and the Chiefs didn't even have three great receivers, but obviously, I mean, I guess Sammy Watkins and Kelsey, whatever. But the Bucks, yeah, Godwin, Evans, Antonio Brown, and they had a ton of depth. And then you look at their running game. Neither of these teams had a pounder running back. And Mixon, if anything, Dylan, you know this, has proven us this season is that he can be a top 10 running back.
But not in the big games because they just played the Chiefs and only gave him the ball 12 times.
Because the passing attack was fantastic. Look how many times Joe Burrow
But
threw
why would
the
they
ball
need to use the passing
times.
attack if they weren't playing from behind?
There we go.
But they were playing from behind for most of
Right.
the
Here's the
game.
thing,
Joe.
And that's
If
not.
they go
and
up
if you're
against the
playing from
Colts,
behind against Jonathan Taylor, you
he's
can't
gonna
win.
take the clock down. I love
No,
that we
but-
were thinking synchronously there. That was awesome.
Yeah, but we're not.
You
I'm
can't
not.
win playing from behind against a rushing attack.
Yeah, but again, you're comparing this to Taylor. This is nothing to. I'm not. This is not has anything to do with Jonathan Taylor. This is a completely.
All right. Hold on. I'm respecting your point, and I want you to say what you think after. But do you think the Bengals are the best team in the AFC right now? Do you think they're going to make the Super Bowl? I just want to hear what you say.
I'm not saying that. We're simply posing the question of this Bengals team looks fantastic, and could they make the Super Bowl?
Of course,
Right.
they can.
So
Exactly. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying.
So Kian, what are you saying with the former Super Bowls?
I'm saying
Finish
you
your
look
thought.
at these teams, and all right, the Bucks are probably the most rounded team I've seen win a Super Bowl in the past couple of years. Great defense, great offense.
Philadelphia.
Yeah,
They were the
Philadelphia
most
as well.
well-rounded team.
I don't know. Philadelphia as well.
But they weren't as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bengals to me look, I mean, in every which way look like a Super Bowl team. A defense that's good and an offense that's explosive. And I think
But
they
the
have
problem I have
every
with that,
single position
Go ahead.
possible to play from behind. And for Jonathan Taylor, yeah, he can run down clock, but what's the best thing to score efficiently and on time? Someone who can pass the ball accurately and very well, and a good offensive line and three receivers. Someone who can go deep. Someone who can go intermediate.
I don't want to keep bringing up the Colts against the Bengals because that might not even be a matchup.
Yeah,
but
but we're posing. Yeah, okay.
We're posing the question: do you think Joe Burrow would be able to throw for 450 yards against the Colts?
Yes.
I honestly don't know. I genuinely don't
I
know.
don't think so.
I mean,
This Colts team that has forced the second most takeaways in the NFL. I mean,
yeah,
I know
but
Joe
Charlie,
Burrow's not
most of their
super
takeaways are
takeaway prone,
fumbles.
but like
I think more than like 3/4 of their takeaways are fumbles, are forced fumbles. And
I
that
don't know
isn't
about
maybe.
3/4 of them, but
yeah, I think they
but
have like
regardless, fumbles are still takeaways.
yeah, but fumbles is much different from throwing the ball.
No, you can throw the ball and still fumble.
Yeah, I know, but I think most of their fumbles are off running. But I don't know. This is I think it comes off their edge and then they're throwing ball. So whatever. I think the Bengals to me, and whatever ended off, I think first of all, this Burrow Mahomes matchup for the rest of their career is going to be incredible in this.
The AFC has some awesome quarterbacks going into the end of the careers. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and Burrow to me looks like he can go do it, and I think this would be a much different situation if it was a kind of an unstable quarterback. Like, say, for example, this is a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson, or I know I'm comparing to rookies, but even a Justin Herbert. I mean, none of these guys have proven. I think Joe Burrow has proven he can win in big games, and he just beat the Chiefs. And I think that's a prime example. You just beat the Chiefs to win their division, to potentially put them to win the AFC. I mean, if that doesn't prove to you that he can go play in the Super Bowl or that he can be clutch and make it in the playoffs, and I know it's a different beast, I don't know what will. And I think that's what everything that the Bengals has shown us this year, they can't show us anymore that would, besides going back and playing 3 more years, which isn't possible, which, being more experienced, they have shown everything they can to show that we can make a deep playoff run. And if I'm any AFC team, I do not want to play the Bengals right now. And the Colts, to be fair.
Although my problem with the Bengals, like I may be just underestimating the Bengals. I think they're a very good team, but when I look at, they have 5 possible opponents for that first round in the wild card. That's the Bills, Patriots, Colts, Chargers, and Raiders.
And all of those games, I think they could win.
They could.
I don't think I don't think they beat the Colts. I
don't
think
think
they beat
they beat
everyone
the
else.
Colts. Last time they played the Chargers, they let up 41 points and only scored 22. I'm not saying they wouldn't beat them this time, but
the
they
Chargers
got kind
look
of blown
like
out by the Chargers.
the most unstable. The Chargers would be the most unstable playoff team.
That might mean
the Bills are one of the only teams that have as dynamic of a quarterback as Joe Burrow with Josh Allen. The Patriots defense has proved themselves, and so has their rushing attack.
Yeah.
The Raiders they would most definitely beat.
The Raiders they would beat. The Patriots, I think, probably are a team that I think the Patriots would be a big game they would.
All the teams but the Raiders just pose big problems for the Bengals that they're going to have a hard time addressing. Not saying I don't think they can win, but I don't know that I would pick them to win.
Then if they win, they play the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they can win. I mean, they beat the Chiefs.
They can, but
I don't think they will in the playoffs.
I don't think they will. Okay.
If I'm the Chiefs, I'm pooping my pants. The Bengals are a team I do not want to play. The Bengals
really
just
want that
kept
to be
up with
clear.
our dynamic offense that teams have not been able to. They have a receiver who is better than both of Jamar Chase right now looks better than Tyreek Hill and Travis
No.
Kelce. Yeah, he does.
No.
He played one game better than them. I wouldn't
No, Jamar Chase
go
has been
that
fantastic
far.
this entire
Jamar
season.
Chase has been excellent this year, and I don't
records.
want to
He's been
take anything off of
But
Jamar
so have
Chase this
Tyreek
year.
Hill and Travis Kelce.
Tyreek Hill has had this type of game in his career before. You're forgetting that.
No, I know that, but has he this season?
Yes.
Well,
No, he has
no,
not.
not quite like
look.
this, but he's been consistently
Charlie, no
underrated.
player in probably NFL history or in
other
recent
than
NFL
Tyreek
history.
Hill and Megatron.
Yeah,
And Odell Beckham.
not Odell
2
Beckham.
seasons ago with the Giants.
I don't know. I think this Bengals team is legit.
We're forgetting this is week 4. Tyreek Hill had 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not as good as Jamar Chase, but it compares.
Not really.
Does.
It's
It
almost
does.
100 yards more.
It does.
It's
It-
not
it's
really.
comparable.
There is a
186 yards and 3
ginormous
touchdowns regardless is
no. There's a
impressive.
ginormous difference from going for 150 plus. We see that a lot. Not a lot, but you see that basically every season, maybe almost every other week. He had
Here's what
266 yards. You don't see that from running backs. You don't see that from quarterbacks a lot, and 3 touchdowns.
No, I agree with you.
If a wide receiver puts up
Chase-
stats, a quarterback would, and it would look good for the quarterback.
Yeah.
You know,
Jamar Chase's game was unprecedented. Do you think he could do it again, knowing that the Chiefs are now going to double him?
yeah, but that's the thing. They double him and T. Higgins is there. They double him. Tyler Boyd is there. They double him. CJ Zone is there. They double him.
They have
run
an
with
excellent
Mixon.
They have an excellent offense, but they had to go shot for shot with the Chiefs, and it ended up working for them. But someone has to question the calls that were made on the field in that game. There were a couple of questionable ones.
Not really.
Yes.
I think there is a.
The Bengals scored a touchdown with a minute left on the clock, giving Mahomes a chance to go down the field, and they called it back for a really bullcrap holding call that really helped out the Bengals.
All right, you can't say a call that went against the Bengals.
No. I'm not pointing that out and saying that the Chiefs deserve to win that game. I'm saying the Chiefs are in that game, and I think they are the better team. They had a lot of COVID outs comparatively to the Bengals, and I think they're clearly, or maybe not clearly, there's nothing clear in the NFL this season. I think if I were to have to place a bet, I'd pick the Chiefs pretty comfortably, though.
Yeah, and I think I probably would
too.
also, but I'm saying that there is definitely I think it's 60-40.
But now you're going from I would pick the Bengals to make the Super Bowl to I'm picking.
I never said that. I never said I would.
You
No,
did.
I didn't. I said that the Bengals can make the Super Bowl. I never said I would pick the Bengals. I
You
never
also did
once
say
said
that you would
I.
pick the Bengals over the Chiefs.
What?
You
Yeah,
did say
you-
that you would pick the Bengals to beat the Chiefs if they met in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think I would.
You literally just said you wouldn't, though.
No, I didn't. Oh yeah, sorry. Never mind. No,
We're getting off point, though.
no.
And to say
Wait,
I was right, Odell did have a game with 222 yards.
Oh no, I mixed it because I thought that the Bengals could face the Chiefs before the championship game, and they couldn't.
They
They
could.
could.
Yeah, exactly. And I would pick them. So I'm not saying the Bengals will make it to the Super Bowl. I'm saying theoretically in the playoffs, the Bengals could beat the Chiefs.
Yes, but
Yeah.
but then I asked if they were to play again, I'm picking the Chiefs, and you said I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very conscious. I don't know. Sometimes I think podcasts definitely exploit. I don't know. I think,
Got it.
yeah, if they were to play them that moment, I would probably pick the Chiefs. But I think right now the Chiefs don't want to play the Bengals, and I would.
Oh, I completely
I would
agree.
very seriously
Nobody wants
consider
to play them.
picking the Bengals.
Nobody wants to play the Bengals right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there are teams that I think the Colts would be happy drawing the Bengals. Personally,
Colts
would.
would
team
much
with that
rather
week
have
of
to
a
go
rushing
against New
attack.
England.
they would rather it, but I think actually I don't know that they would. The Patriots have a much better defense than the Bengals, a much better rushing attack.
Well, we're
rushing
getting off
defense in
topic. Well,
particular.
let's
I just-
stay on. Let's stay on the. I don't know. I think
I don't
at the
think
end
the
of the
Bengals
day,
are the worst
the
team you could draw
Bengals
right
Burrow
now.
matchup will be fantastic. This Bengals team is legit.
Yes.
This Bengals team can make a push and a team that people do not want to face in the playoffs.
Very true.
Oh, they're real. Yeah.
They are real.